you guys?
Sorry.
What's going on? What's going on, you guys? Hello there. Thank you so much. We are going to go ahead and get started. Let me change something up real fast. So let us know that you're in here. Speak to us. I see that we have somebody that just logged in, that just jumped in. Go ahead and say hi. You guys make sure that you like and share. Let me make sure that we are in the screen. Hey, you guys, go ahead and say something to us. Let us know that you're in here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
All right, so we are live. Thank you guys. Come on in. Come in, click like, click share. Hey, Tanya, thank you for joining us, sweetie.
Hey, Tanya.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
You guys make sure, once again, that you're clicking like and you're sharing this video. Something is going to be said. I'm sure something's going to be said that will be able to help someone that is watching. Yes. Maybe you, maybe someone that you're sharing it to, but I am certain that something will be said tonight that is going to be helpful and useful. Hey, Chris, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate it,
Chris. Thank you for joining us.
You guys make sure that you're clicking share, that you're sharing the video, you're liking the video, you're sharing it.
Yes,
I've already shared it onto my regular page, and it's being streamed also. And hey, Marche is being streamed also in on YouTube.
Yes.
I know something is going to be said that's going to be good today, because the enemy has really been trying to stifle up until like what? 3 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago. But you know, I get real angst when it comes to that. But you know, at the same time, I understand that the only time that the enemy is going to try and do anything to what's going on is if he feels intimidated.
Yes,
so I know he's intimidated at the fact that what we're doing is for a purpose. You know, we're doing this so that we can pour into other couples and change the view of how society has defined marriage.
Absolutely.
And it all starts with things like this, right? It starts with a mere conversation. It starts with people being very transparent and open with what they're experiencing, what they have experienced. And so Eric and I are here just as vessels, right? We're not here to say that we have it all, because, hello, we are still dating with the purpose. And even in this dating with the purpose process, there's a lot of learning that has to be done. You know, I come from being in a long-term relationship, and he comes from being in a long-term relationship. And so what happens in that is you're so accustomed to what you're accustomed to, whether it was normal, whether it was abnormal, whether it was healthy or unhealthy. You're just accustomed to that particular thing. And so when you begin to date someone else that is totally different from, or may have some similarities, but totally different from the person that you dated before,
Absolutely.
Right? There's some shifting that has to be done. There's some things that will expose you where you thought you were doing it pretty good, and then you get into this new relationship, and it's like, okay, wait, hold on, right? Because things begin to get exposed. And so this platform is not only for those that are married, it's for those that are single, that plan to be married or want to be married. It's for those that are dating with a purpose, those that are engaged, those that are married, and yes, those that are divorced but still have that, but I want to do it again, right? Like that song, let's do it again. Hey. Anyway, moving right along. So again, I say thank you guys for joining us tonight. Listen, the last show with the Eddingtons, I felt like that was a very, very, very powerful show. And there were so many things that were said, so many things that were shared, and the transparency of it all. Alvin and Sabrina were very transparent about where they're at, where they've been, where they're going, right? And they explained how it takes a lot of work, right?
Absolutely.
For me, I had my takeaway from that particular show was my takeaway was doing it for each other and not doing the work to make it work for each other. Not doing the work because you are a minister, and not doing the work because people expect, right? But just doing the work because this is what you vowed to do. Doing the work because this is what you committed to doing. And so that was my takeaway from it, because I do know that many times in when I was married, or when we were going through our breakup season, I was doing a lot of things I was doing was because of my ministry. A lot of, not that I didn't love him, but a lot that I was doing, honestly, I fought a lot more because of the ministry. And that's like so wrong. That's backwards, right? It's backwards. And so when he said that last week or the last show, there was some aha moments for me. I was like, been there, done that. So someone else needs to know that. Someone that's actually doing it now. Someone that is just doing the fight or fighting just because of what others will say. And that was my takeaway. What was yours?
Well, you know what? My takeaway had to do with the timeline in the conversation. It started with them explaining how they transitioned apart from one another. And that was evident with the way they explained it. They explained it as Alvin, he has a way of doing things. Sabrina has her way of doing things. And it just caused a transition of separation. And what I found that was quite interesting is that how they brought it back, how they came back together, the acknowledgement, the fact that Alvin was so he acknowledged his queen as this is my queen. I have to represent myself accordingly. I have to represent as the king in her life.
Right.
So, and I just thought that was quite interesting that the acknowledgement of Sabrina, the acknowledgement of the person that she is as being his wife.
Right.
And not only that, but just not only the acknowledgement of that, but also the listening and hearing.
Right.
They talked about the listening and hearing part, and he acknowledged that he wasn't listening to her. He wasn't listening to hear. He was just listening. So he decided to listen, and then that went. I compared that. I mean, I put that together with the whole surrendering. They found a way to surrender to the divine order that God placed for them, the foundation that was set for them.
Yeah,
it was a divine assignment for them to be together, and they had to find a place. They had to find that place and get back to that place where that divine assignment was the part that they could adhere to, in their relationship and in their marriage. And so I just found that to be quite special. Right. That timeline leading up to that, and just Alvin being just surrendering, and as well as Sabrina surrendering to the king, and Alvin surrendering to his queen.
Right. Yeah. And he mentioned, because I'm her small L, small Lord. Yeah. Right. Like, so what he did was acknowledge that the hierarchy, like there is your Lord, right? And then there's me. There is not me and then your Lord. And sometimes we do it a little backwards. We give so much energy to our spouse or to the person that we're dating or we're pursuing. Yeah. We give so much energy to them. I mean, we wake up thinking about them. We go to sleep thinking about them. Throughout the day, we're thinking about them. We're sending messages about them, to them, right? Throughout the day. And God is saying, but what about my time? And he's a jealous God, right? So he's can you wake up in the morning and at least say, good morning, God. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Can you say good night? Can you talk to me throughout the day? Can you thank me for the small things? And that's what we ask for each other. I know for me, I say, it's not the big stuff, baby. It's the small things. All I need you to do is, these small things, and I'm good. I'm pleased. And God is saying, just the small things, right? Because what we do is we ask God for big things. And God is saying, too much is given, much is required. So there's some requirements, right? And it's the same thing in relationship and in marriage. And I say all the time that marriage is a parallel relationship to the relationship that Christ has with the church. Right. And so if we want to judge ourselves according to, like, am I doing it right? Am I being the right type of husband? Am I doing the right thing as a wife? Am I submitting the proper way? The best example is to look at the relationship between Christ and the church. And the only way to do that is reading the word and educating ourselves, right? Because we date each other, we date with the purpose, and try and figure out, okay, so what's your background and where did this come from and why do you feel this way and what does that stem from and what's that character flaw about? And God is like, pursue me like that, right? Find out why I ask you to be this type of wife and find out, ask me questions. I want to answer them, right? I want to have this dialogue with you. And God is saying that to us, but we are actually saying it to the man, to the woman that we're dating. But
absolutely.
Amazing show that was.
Yes,
and so
it was. Yes, it was.
We really appreciate Alvin and Sabrina for coming on and being transparent. But tonight, what we are going to be talking about with Mr. and Mrs. Brown, Mr. and Mrs. Van Brown, is what was the plan before saying I do, right? And what is the plan? Is the plan actually working after you've said I do? You know, many times we commit to things, or we make a plan, or we say the vow. The vow in itself, and I posted that earlier today, the vow in itself is a plan, right? And then we commit to it. We say, I do. But my question is, how often are we actually sitting down and going line by line on about those vows, especially the part that just rubs us the wrong way when it actually happened? Those things that are uncomfortable, like the money part. I say that all the time because, you know, money makes people act a little funny, you know. I'm just saying.
Well, money makes the world go round.
I mean, it was put here, it was given to us. It's a blessing, as an asset. It's a vessel to get us to where he needs us to be, right? But many times we use and abuse that vessel that God has given us, those gifts that God has given us. One thing that I shared with Simone, with my oldest daughter, she has a gift to draw, right? She's an artist, and she just takes it, she was taking it for granted that she can do it. Oh, when I need some money, I'll go ahead and I'll do some work, right? And I had to put it to her this way. I said, listen, because God gave it to me to give to her. I said, so when someone gives you a gift, what do you do with it? And she's like, well, what is the gift? I said, it doesn't matter. If someone gives you a gift and they know that you would enjoy it, you would like it, what do you do with it? And she says, I would appreciate it. I would use it. I would, you know, she began to say all these things she would do, right? It was a straight setup because God had just given me this for her. And I said, exactly. I said, so God is giving you a gift. He's giving you a gift that he is requiring you or expecting you to use. And so we have to be mindful of what God has given us when he gives us these gifts, when he's giving us these things to walk out in our relationships or in our marriages, and we're not using it. We have to be mindful of how we are appreciating what he has given us. And so back to the money part, I was saying how you were saying how money makes the world goes around. And I'm like, it does, but we have to make sure that we're not abusing it, right? So with tonight's topic, and we're talking about creating a plan, designing a plan before you say I do. Do you think it's important for us to design a plan before saying I do? Because come on, let's be clear. Let's be clear. We all know that once we get into the marriage, once we get into the relationship, things change. Not saying that the person changed, but just things change. You know, it's inevitable. It's inevitable for us to gain different experiences after we've said I do. And so maybe, just maybe, some things that have been planned prior to saying I do, that thing may need to shift. That thing may need to change, you know, or just remove completely.
Absolutely.
Do you think it's important for us to create a plan prior to saying I do?
Well, look at it this way. And this is a plug, the marriage policy and procedures. Your policy.
You read it?
Yes, I read it. I'm up on it.
Which policy?
Policy number 1, the 1.1, policy 1.1.
What is it talking about?
And it's talking about designing your marriage. It's talking about having a design for your marriage and putting the time and energy into sustaining that commitment. And when I talk about commitment, you ask the question, should you have a plan? Yes, you should have a plan, because that commitment is what's going to continue the growth in your marriage.
Yes.
That commitment is what you want to look at and say, okay, the plan and commitment is what does it look like, and how do I sustain that?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? How do I sustain that? So you have to put in the work, the time. You have to ask the questions, ask those pertinent questions that both of you are going to respond to, both of you are going to adhere to in your marriage.
Right.
And it's going to, in that adherence, you're going to create design for your marriage.
Right.
That complete design for your marriage.
Right.
So you want to, yeah, I would say yes.
Okay.
You do want to plan. You do want to plan a design for your marriage. You do want to plan it because it's going to assist with the marriage. It's going to assist with the goals that you create later on.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can always come back to that.
Right.
You can always come back to that design.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, and I say yes too, but I just threw the question out there playing the devil's advocate. No pun intended. But I just threw it out there because, and I want to know from you, from the viewers, do you think it's important for us to create a design or plan prior to saying I do, or do you think it's best to wait until you say I do? Because, you know, people change, things change, experiences change. Yes or no? Do you think we should, or we shouldn't? Right. What do you think? Because I'm a firm believer in the word. It says, write the vision and make it plain. And so I'd say this, if I am expecting something, especially to our men, to the husbands that are protectors, you're a provider, you're the leader, you're the covering, right?
You're the umbrella.
You are the umbrella. And if you are asking, or if you are designing something and you're presenting something to your fiance, your soon-to-be wife, if you're presenting something to her, you have to show her what it is that what is she following, right? What am I following? And I understand sometimes we get into these relationships and we get into these marriages that have not been planned, and then but they do agree with what the word says, that the husband is the protector, the guy, the leader, and the covering. They understand that, and so a woman, a wife, a godly wife will say, okay, babe, you know, what are we doing? And I'm gonna roll with you. And she will give her opinion, and that's okay, ladies. It's okay, and men, for the wife to give her opinion. I mean, if this is someone that God has gifted you, He's gifted you this woman. He has gifted you some wisdom, right? And so being available to hear her point of view is always a plus. And so we have, Venus says, no, before. I think she said, no, do it before. Make the plan before.
Yes, yes.
Chris says that they made their plan together while dating. Absolutely.
Yes.
Tanya says you need a plan indeed. Although it may change, it's best to have a map and a guide to follow together. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree, because things will change. I'm not going to say they may change. Things will change. But if you have that foundation, I talk about the foundation a lot. If you have that foundation, that thing that you are building on top of, we can always remove pieces that we're building that's not working for the marriage. We can always remove pieces and replace them with what is working, right? If we just jump in this thing because he's fine, if we just jump in this thing because she's fine, because, you know, the money is there, or, you know, the things that they have, that superficial stuff, if we're just jumping in because of the superficial stuff, then 9 times out of 10, well, 10 times out of 10, we're probably going to have to really, really break everything down and start all over. And if you're starting all over from the foundation, meaning you have to recreate a foundation, that's harder. It's harder to build. And so, again, we have Mr. and Mrs. Van Brown that have weighed in on this topic, and unfortunately, they are not able to join us live. They had an emergency that they had to handle tonight. But what they did do, and I'm so appreciative of this, what they did was we sent them some questions. They answered the questions. They sent them back to us, and their responses to these questions. Listen, I had to grab some paper and a pen, my doggone self, because I said, wait, what? I had to pause, rewind, go back, right? Check myself. And I think it's amazing. And so what we're going to do, we're going to share this video with you guys. Please watch the video in its entirety. Still, comment, ask the questions, because what they're going to do is come back and review the questions and respond to the questions. They're just not able to be live with us, but it's going to be the same amount of time, the same thing. The only thing is they're actually just flowing. We're not able to stop them in the middle of their questions or their answers and kind of interject or anything. But please still type in your questions. If you have a question for Eric and I, we will, after the video, we're going to come back to thank you guys for sitting. Please make sure that you leave those questions as well. And so I am going to go ahead and share this video. This is our first time doing this share thing, so Pray for us, sister.
Pray for us.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share, you guys. Give us a second, and we'll be back right after this, okay? Give us a second.
Bear with us.
Okay. So, hold on, you guys. So what is, and maybe you guys can answer this for me. It's telling me that my browser has blocked my screen. Okay, I think I get it. Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. All right. Yeah, okay. Plan B. What I am going to do is go ahead and log us off. We're going to log off. I am going to it says allow. I allowed the pop-ups. Tina says, sorry, this is okay. I allowed the pop-ups, and it's still giving me the same thing. It does say to share the screen. It's giving me, it says block temporarily. You may need to reload the page. Okay, plan B. I'm going to go ahead and log off, but I'm going to upload the video to Facebook, and you guys can watch the video, and then we'll come back. If there's anything that you want to say, any comments that you have, again, please still make sure that you are responding, that you are asking questions, and they are going to come on and check these questions and respond. So you guys give us about 1 minute, and I'll have it uploaded on Facebook and on YouTube to all my YouTube viewers. I'll have it on both in about 1 to 2 minutes, you guys. And then if there's any questions, Eric and I will come back. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you so much again for your patience. We are definitely in the development stages of this show. But you know what? I am going to say this, that the enemy is upset, and so he's going to do whatever it is that he can do. Marche says that when she realized, let me answer these questions then. Right. She says, when I realized while dating my husband that I could work with him, plan with him, accomplish whatever with him, I knew he was the man for me. I am still, after 5 years, thanking God for my gift, him. Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Amen. You know, we have to make sure, I think it's important that we make sure while we are in this dating, the dating phase of your relationship, prior to saying I do, you want to make sure that you're able to do all of these things together, that we are able to do business together. We're able to have fun together. We're able to laugh together and cry together. And you know what I'm saying? And we have to have a plan on how we argue, right? There's a way of arguing, and I'm using the word argue, but there's a way of disagreeing, you know? If we're disagreeing about something, we need to know, like, I don't want to give the answers, but Van Brown breaks that part down how they do it. And that's their way of doing it. Yeah. But that goes to show that there's a plan. Yes. You know, they have a plan. And so I hate that I'm not able to share this. I'm going to try it one more time, you guys, and see what happens. Select screen or... Yes, there's rules to fight. That's right, Chris. Yeah, it's not working. So, again, I am just going to go ahead and log out of here and upload the video because it's definitely some good information that they're going to show. And we'll be back, you guys. See you in a minute.